Welcome into a live edition of the KC Laboratory presented by Emprise Bank, our amazing partners in Possible here at KC Sports Network. Appreciate everyone that is hanging out with us tonight. Anyone that's listening, wherever you're at, watching wherever you're at, you are greatly appreciated. And so are my two beautiful, lovely pals, Craig Stout and Maddie Lane. The gang is all together again. Feels nice. Maddie, I'm a little disappointed in you.
Sure.
The flow looked great pre-show, and then you put a hat on.
Buddy, this hair is wilding right now. Let me tell you what. There's a lot of hair going on up here. There's a lot of lettuce. There's a lot of lettuce. You want hat off, Kit?
Yeah. There we go.
Hat off.
See, Craig, you can let your hair out too.
I'm working on it. I will try. I will push hard. I mean, I got nothing here. All this hair talk, I'm just jealous. That's all this is. Gentlemen, I am so excited to be talking football with you both right now. The Chiefs are fixed, clearly. All they needed was apparently a game against the now everybody wants to crown the Detroit Lions for that win that they had this past weekend where they looked good. But everybody's ignoring the fact that the Chiefs beat the brakes off of the Detroit Lions 2 weeks ago, and they beat the whole damn gas pedal off of the Las Vegas Raiders this past week. I mean, vibes are high. Vibes are incredibly high right now. I can't wait to talk about this football team.
Listen, I'm just glad you're okay. Right. I'm glad that you're doing good, Craig. I'm glad that you're back and you're doing okay. I appreciate that. You're doing a lot better than the Raiders are.
I was back last week.
It's okay. We like it better this way. I like to just, Kent wasn't here and I didn't respond if he was okay or not. I very conveniently left that out.
That was fair.
Thanks a lot.
No. But yeah,
it.
vibes are pretty high around the Chiefs right now. And listen, I don't want to get too far over our skis here, but I don't think that this upcoming game is going to do a lot to bring Chiefs fans back down to earth. We'll get into it in a second, but boy, watching that Cowboys Commanders, Kent, Commanders game.
I did catch that. No, I caught it. Mm-hmm.
I know. I don't know.
Just did a complete leapfrog of what they should go back and rebrand the team with right now. Going back to your childhood. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Don't ask me. It's been a week.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know if the vibes will get much lower after that game. That Commanders team was not looking so hot. Anytime I've really tuned into watching this year, actually, they look like they are definitely a hard step back, a hard regression from what they had last year, that like kind of Cinderella run. So, we might get another week of kind of flying high here as Chiefs fans. And you know what? We deserve it.
We absolutely do.
I love how Maddie is saying Commanders like Mr. Kareem Hunt today.
Yes.
I love that's the treatment that we're getting today. Oh man. This is gonna be, I can't wait. I'm gonna count how many times he does that today. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, the segment that's sweeping the nation, that's calming temperaments, bringing smiles, and getting me to dance a little bit. 7 minutes with Craig Stout. Play the music, Tuck.
That's right. An utter beatdown of the Las Vegas Raiders. This was not close. This was never close. So, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into this football game. We're going to look at the special teams real quick. That's how much of a beatdown this was. I believe, is my video stuck right now?
It's okay.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
For the audio listener, we'll figure this out.
We'll just keep dancing.
So, we're gonna start with a kickoff return. Harrison Butker lines up, boots it very deep. well within the boundary there. I know that's been a problem at times so far this year. Was not a problem on this particular kick. Lands inside the landing zone. Raheem Mostert takes the ball out, kind of cutting to the side, and you see Cooper McDonald actually shed a good tackle there. My guy, Cooper McDonald there. But, is able to turn it kind of inside. Joshua Williams does a really good job of kind of filling the gap, but isn't able to break, make the tackle there. Noah Williams does a really excellent job filling from the backside, and the Las Vegas Raiders start on their own 38-yard line. That was the closest this game ever got, and that was the opening kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. It was never close. It was never anything. I mean, to the point where the Kansas City Chiefs not only didn't have to flex their muscles in the fourth quarter, as evidenced by the fact that the starters were all pulled in this, they didn't even call anything that unique or particularly dynamic in this game. What they did is they lined up, they called a bunch of RPOs on offense, they called a bunch of their base West Coast stuff on offense, and they just kind of force-fed Rashee Rice on some of these quick in-breakers, screens, things like that. Didn't even have to go deep. On defense, they didn't really get into Spagnuolo's bag. The most unique things that we saw were some of the late rotations with Drew Tranquill back to safety again on the same side of the field as Nick Bolton. That's one that I've kind of been paying attention. It hasn't caught up to the Chiefs at all. Certainly wasn't going to get caught up to them against the Raiders that could not do anything against them. But with Nick Bolton playing an apex to the same side as Drew Tranquill dropping, that's not a ton of speed to one side of the field over there. They always do it to the tight end side, to be fair. But one of those things that I'm keeping my eye on if they get caught out against a more dynamic tight end and some of the guys that they got coming up on the schedule here, but really didn't do anything all that exotic. Didn't have to do anything all that exotic. I mean, there's really nothing to break down other than the fact that they basically played a B game. The Kansas City Chiefs did, mostly because they didn't get into their playbook. They didn't have to get into their playbook, and it was never close. And I don't know, man. This is the kind of performance that gets coaches fired in the NFL, in college, in anything like that. You can't have that kind of performance with guys quitting on the field the way that the Raiders did in this game. If Pete Carroll wasn't Pete Carroll, and this wasn't year one, I shudder to think what would have happened after this game, because you can't put on this kind of performance and do this. Just an utter dominance by the Chiefs in a game that they didn't really have to try very hard in order to move the ball or score or stop the Raiders.
It felt like a preseason game. What the Chiefs did on both sides of the ball felt like a preseason game. Here's the same 4 RPOs that we started the game with. We're going to keep running those. Here's a couple basic West Coast principles. Here's us trying out some screens, and we're going to run a bunch of, mid zone and outside zone, and we're going to call it a day. And that we're going to take some knees outside the 2-minute warning, and we're going to put our backup quarterback into the third quarter. It felt like a preseason game, ultimately is what it comes down to. I think Chiefs fans should be very excited based around what happened. They should love what happened, but at the same time, I don't know what we learned. I don't know what we learned from that game. I'm still struggling to figure out what we learned from that game.
I think what we learned from that game is this is exactly why Andy Reid wants to dust off the 2007 Philadelphia Eagles playbook, because he gets to go, yeah, you see, this shit still works when you're playing the Raiders, but it does work over here. That's what it was. I mean, it really was. It was. I criticized them for just leaning into that earlier this year. In a game like this, absolutely lean in. Just do that. You don't show anything. This is Andy Reid's ideal game. It's over early. It's comfortable. He got to run his favorite playbook that he wants to run here, and he gets to save all the good plays and all the unique stuff for better opponents down the line.
You know what I loved about that game, and just we got on this. This is so different than last year. The 15-2 team that was 15-1 with their starters, went to the Super Bowl. That team, whatever. Last year, how many times did we pick a blowout on this show? 7.
At a certain point, I believe you guys learned your lesson.
I just find it funny that this 3-3 football team walking into this week, all of us, I mean, blowout city, 14, 20 points. All of us are just
I picked the Ravens.
That's a good point. You didn't pick the Ravens to win again. But I just love that, like, we could predict, we could go back to predicting blowouts again. We're allowed to do it. We're allowed to pick the Chiefs to cover the spread. We are allowed again to do this, and it worked. And I'm just so thrilled that weight has been lifted off our shoulders here. That we can start puffing our chest out and start predicting giant blowouts again.
I picked 35-3 in this game. That's what I picked. 35-3. And yet it was way better than that. Like somehow it was so significantly better than that. It was awesome.
It was a delicious win for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think the funny thing is we even said going into the game, it's like, I'm not really sure we can learn much. This O-line stinks. Chris Jones should dominate. What'd he do? He dominated. Whoa! Hi, Tuck.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How's dinner,
buddy?
I'm eating some frozen berries.
I've had it. Had it up to here.
Maddie's have some camera issues there, buddy.
This is a professional podcast, damn it.
I'm just done. We're gonna go back and gonna go find out Mozilla Firefox and only use Firefox from now on. This is ridiculous.
This segment's not brought to you by Mozilla Firefox. It is brought to you by our dear, wonderful friends at GAHA, though. Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50-yard line inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now and enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are an absolutely wonderful, fun group to be doing work with. Big fans of GEHA over there. Got to hang out with them a little bit on Monday, and they are just some absolutely lovely people over at GEHA. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity, because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
A lot of inquiring minds on the chat here during this live edition of the KC Laboratory. Tucker Franklin, quick question for you, sir. What berries? What we got?
It's the cherries and berries medley from Aldi. So it's strawberries, blueberries, and 2 different types of cherries.
I do miss Aldi. Not gonna lie, miss Aldi out here.
They don't have that in Colorado.
It's not.
Is it
not
regional?
a big thing out here? Yeah.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Just move back. Problem solved.
Just dip where you live so you can get closer to Aldi.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not
Oh.
kids. Just Aldi.
So that you can bag your own groceries and have to bring a quarter to get a shopping cart.
Yeah, that's true. I did like that. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty fun.
that quarter was really keeping me from stealing that card. I'll tell you what. Tucker, you're gonna be the sleepiest boy. After
How
all
come?
those cherries, cherries help you sleep. Did you know that?
Oh well, they don't help me. I need to eat more. I guess. Holy cow!
Maybe don't wash the cherries down with a white Monster. I don't know.
I did actually mix one time when I was eating the berries. I did mix them together because I thought it would help them thaw out, And I was like, it would taste kind of good. It did.
I was
It
looking
tasted
to
good.
see exactly how much melatonin is in cherries, but
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've never heard that being a thing.
Mm-mm.
Well,
It's us youth over here. Maddie and I don't know about cherries.
Me and Craig are typically
We can
on the health and wellness side of things here.
Listen,
in this
listen.
group.
Once you hit a certain age, you have to start thinking about this sort of stuff. Like one wrong move, and
probably
you could
fair.
just be asleep at 7 p.m. Which
Does
sounds
the cherries have tryptophan in them?
no,
I
it's
don't know.
melatonin.
It is melatonin.
Mhm.
I do take melatonin before bed, but I think it's a placebo. I think that
Oh,
I'm that I
100%.
I think taking melatonin is a placebo. You take it and you think, well, this is gonna make me sleep better, so you do sleep better in turn. It's a sugar pill.
It has
I
zero
was gonna-
impact on my life.
Can I?
It
tell you
affects me
guys-
as much as the Raiders' defense affected the Chiefs' offense.
Can I tell you guys a quick tryptophan story?
Sure.
It's one of the dumbest things I've ever said. I was like 12. I didn't know.
I'm Maddie now.
I said I was at Thanksgiving. I was like 12 years old. And I said that turkey was an aphrodisiac for me because it makes me fall asleep.
Oh no, Kent.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever said in my life.
I'm actually kind of disappointed Maddie wasn't here to hear that.
Guys, hold on. Don't tell him. Let him miss it out.
Don't
Make him rewatch
nobody
it.
say anything. Anybody
tell 'em.
watching in the chat, never say anything about what just happened to Maddie.
Okay. This is perfect.
Okay.
But
Don't
yeah,
listen
that was
back,
that was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever said in my life. Easily.
I don't know. I've known you for a long time, buddy.
That's a good point. I mean,
Maddie,
it's
switch
just
your mic.
12-year-old having just I had no clue. Zero clue. Did not know what I was saying. Thought it was something else. Offensive preview time.
Nice segue.
No way to segue from that one. No way
Segue
to-
myself on out of here again.
Yeah, you might want to. Let's see here. Let's start with Craig Stout with his offensive question for the game preview against the Washington Commanders for Monday Night Football, which is 5 days from now. Here we go.
I would love nothing more than to ask the question, do the Chiefs see more stack releases this week? With Rashee Rice back in the fold, obviously you saw a lot of those against the Raiders. And we're dismissing a lot of what happened in the Raiders game because of obvious reasons there. The Raiders are not a competitive football team, barely an NFL football team based on the way that they played this past weekend. With that being said, that's the way that the Chiefs have utilized Rashee Rice a lot. Either he's a point man on that. If he's running a slant, he runs a lot when he's got stack releases to try and, catch some of these screens, yards after the catch, things like that. This plays into what the Washington football team does fairly regularly here. You see, Kent, that's the last one, not the Commanders, Washington football team. So
Good job.
what they do a lot, or what they did do a lot recently in the past couple games, is they played a lot of press coverage, especially against good wide receivers. The Cowboys last week have a set of really good wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They are great complements to each other. You see now that the Commanders line up and they want to play press against these guys. They want to disrupt him. Didn't work out. Doesn't work out against those kinds of receivers. But it was a bold call because that's what they want to do. Sometimes you see defensive coordinators that say, this is what we do. We're going to play our strength. We're going to do all of this. We're not going to game plan to this. It actually makes some sense to try and do that against the Chiefs with Xavier Worthy, who's a little smaller, Hollywood Brown, who's a little smaller. It makes some sense to try and go out there and play a little more press coverage. And he's going to know this, and he's going to try and get these guys in more advantageous matchups. I think we're going to see a lot more of Juju Smith-Schuster on the point in some of these stack releases. We're going to see a lot more Tyquan Thornton on the point in some of these stack releases, maybe some Rashee Rice on some of this, but they're going to try and protect those guys that they want to get the ball in their hands more frequently. So I expect that we are going to see a Chiefs offense that's going to be built out of some more of these, kind of stack releases. We're going to see a lot more trying to confuse switch releases, things like that. The Commanders, at least against the Cowboys, came out of the gate and wanted to play a lot of man. Boy, that didn't work out very well for them. So if they come out and they say, we're going to play press, we're going to play single high, we're going to try and press these guys to the line of scrimmage and disrupt all of this timing between Patrick Mahomes and these wide receivers, I think you will see a first 15 and beyond of Andy Reid coming out and saying, let's stack these guys, get free releases, get switch releases, find these advantageous matchups a little bit more than maybe we're even thinking, or maybe we've even seen to this year so far.
It would be fun to get a man coverage heavy matchup, especially one that's going to play a lot of press from the Commanders that would really challenge the Chiefs receivers, because that is something that they've struggled with earlier in the year. Now that was without Rashee Rice, with Xavier Worthy either not playing or still coming back. But that is something that Patrick Mahomes split versus man coverage this year have been significantly worse than versus zone. I don't think the Raiders tried to play much man coverage, if at all. And that's why you just saw everything was just like little hooks and spot routes over the middle of the field. Like nothing was actually crossing the midline. Nobody wanted to change which area of the field they were in fear of running to another zone. So it'll be a change up. I do wonder how the Chiefs will approach it just in general, not only with the stacked releases and protecting some guys off the line, just downfield. I just wonder what the route combinations look like against a more man heavy team. I will say something I noticed going back to watch for the Chiefs screen game. Actually, the Chiefs went with a lot of some tight splits. They went with some Los Angeles Rams-esque splits where they would have their outside wide receiver would be in tight to the line of scrimmage. And I know they've done that before in the past. This isn't brand new, but it felt like how often they were going to that. It was pretty high. So they were condensing their splits a little bit for their out wide receivers. And that is another way that you can protect some guys that are still on the outside. So I am curious how much they go back into either condensing the formations a little bit more, or are they just going to get two guys on top of each other, and make sure that you can't press them off the line of scrimmage.
Let's go to my question. How about that? I think there's a little bit of similarities to some of this too. So why don't we get to mine? Can the Chiefs get Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce going in the middle of the field? Now, here's the deal. Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu are not a good coverage group. They are, in fact, kind of bad in the coverage area. So let's see, maybe they're going to play a little bit of man. Maybe they're going to play a little bit of zone. I'm not sure. I just know that I think Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce can get matched up at times with these linebackers, and they should be exploiting it like crazy. I'm not sure this isn't an early down pass day where you're just trying to get the ball in the passing game to these two playmakers early and often on early downs. Go empty a little bit. Spread some things out. We've seen what happens when you put Rashee Rice at number 3 to a 3 receiver side, and how he's able to exploit some of those middle field coverage defenders. I think this is a great week to kind of do that a little bit. Yeah, you're probably, and you kind of, if you're throwing on early downs and you're trying to exploit that a little bit, those are not coverage downs, or those are not downs that Frankie Louvu can blitz. He's an excellent blitzer. He's an excellent rusher from the linebacker spot. Throw early downs. Get the ball out of the hands early and try to exploit Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu in coverage. That's something I think I would like to see the Chiefs do with Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice specifically. I think they can get those two going in the middle of the field.
Especially if the Commanders are going to try and play a little more single high, you can try and hit them up the seam a little bit there, or a couple of routes. Throw a post from a slot receiver, or try and pull the deep safety off of that. As the nearest coverage defender, per what I've got over here, is the worst 3 defenders for the Washington Commanders in a yards per target ratio here are the 2 deep safeties that start. That's Quan Martin and Tyler Owens and Bobby Wagner. Those are the 3. All 3 of those guys are giving up over 9.5 yards per target. And yes, your deep safeties, the limited sample size as a part of that matters in that regard. It really does. But that is a middle of the field that is not strong. They do not have a strong backbone, especially once you clear Luvu as a run defender and as a blitzer. Like, it gets real hairy. Mm-hmm. We just came off of a game where the Kansas City Chiefs got Rashee Rice matched up against a linebacker 7 times. Yes, it's the Raiders. We can put that caveat against it there. But if the Commanders are not going to play man and they're going to play a little more zone, guess who's going to get those matchups? It's going to be Rashee Rice. He's going to be against Bobby Wagner. He's going to be in the middle of the field against these 2 safeties. There are plenty of opportunities to not just get big gains from, a depth of target perspective there, but lots of catch and run opportunities. I think this is a big Rashee Rice, big Travis Kelce. Those 2 guys, Juju Smith-Schuster, I think, has an opportunity to have a big game in the middle of the field as well. I think that they won't have to funnel outside. There's opportunity there. I'm not going to touch on anything here just in case Maddie's got some stuff that he's got to talk about as well. But there's real opportunity in the middle of the field to hit these guys.
Yeah, and this is something I almost went for my question, was just like how the Chiefs were going to attack the middle of the field. And I said, somebody else is going to pull that up, because Bobby Wagner is one of the worst coverage defenders in all of football right now. Like, he's still really good as a run defender when he doesn't have to get outside the tackles. So when he gets to come downhill and play in the box, he's still a pretty good run defender, but he just doesn't have it in coverage anymore. And the Commanders are doing everything they can to not put Frankie Luvu in coverage. Like, there's a reason that Bobby Wagner is still their primary coverage backer, despite being really bad at it. It's because that's not what Frankie Luvu. He wants to be moving forward. He does not like to go backwards. And so, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, I think, over the middle of the field to really pick apart this Commanders pass coverage unit here. Now, and to your point too, I really like that, hey, this might be an early passing down script. So if this game's not a blowout and you get to halftime and it's kind of tight and the Chiefs have only run the ball, a third of the time or whatever, I don't panic. This is a game where I don't know if the Chiefs are going to have a ton of success on the ground. It might make more sense to try to, go with the quick passing game to step in for the run game. So I like that point that you had. That was a good one, Kent. You got a good one in there.
Thank you.
Anyway, my question now, Tucker, please
cow.
throw up my question before we talk anymore on this. Can KC put Washington on its heels with explosive plays? So the Commanders have given up a ton of explosive plays this year. If you go back and watch that Cowboys game, I mean, it was just deep throw after deep throw, catch and run. The Commanders have done a very poor job of keeping players in front of them. When they do give up catches, they are giving up yak at an alarming rate. Once again, shout out Bobby Wagner. So I do wonder if the Chiefs can kind of back the Commanders off the line of scrimmage. Don't allow them to play that same level of man coverage and try to get up and press, because they are worried about being beaten over the top. We have seen the Lions and now the Raiders be a little hesitant to not play with that kind of softer shell and keep everything ahead of them. And the Chiefs have just taken what's there and made them pay for it. I wonder if the Commanders don't come out and try to challenge the Chiefs to push the ball over their heads again. And if they can do that, then maybe they'll back them off. If they can't, it might get a little bit dicier over the middle of the field, trying to play like the short, I don't want to say dink and dunk because it wasn't that, but the short, more ball control style of offense. So essentially, hey, let's bring back some of those big explosive plays that we saw early in the year that have become a little bit, more sparse the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and they trust Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Sainristil. They trust those guys. They really do. Like, they don't offer a ton of help to them as we've watched throughout the year here. It's come to bite them. Like, it has. You've seen these guys get beat over the top. You've seen them not be able to defend some of this stuff. You've seen safeties late to rotate as blown coverages, things like that. This is a prime opportunity to get back to that deep passing game. Chiefs can show that again. I think that was the only thing missing from the Raiders game. And it didn't necessarily need to happen. It just would have been like the cherry on top of an awesome offensive performance. So I do want to see the Chiefs try and get downfield a little more often, whether that be Tyquan Thornton, whether that be Xavier Worthy, try and build that up again. Because again, we've seen what happens when the Chiefs attempt it. Yeah, they're doing better at completing it this year, but it's not like they are, having this crazy high success rate from that, on explosive passes and things like that. It's fine, but it's not this go-to that they can just hit all the time. There's still plenty of misses out there. The misses matter, though. When you've got a blown coverage and you've got a guy that's running by himself and it's still a miss, there's not a defensive coordinator over there going, well, we handled that one correctly. No, they're going, oh, crap. All right. Let's try and rotate guys deep again. Let's try and keep a lid on this. The more you're able to hit that when defenses aren't willing to play too high, aren't willing to play this kind of umbrella coverage over the top, the better you are as a football team when you've got guys like Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, a run game that is starting to click a little bit here. All of a sudden you see a completely different offense like we have the past couple of weeks, where not playing great defenses or injured defenses, but that umbrella, that deep set of safeties all of a sudden turns into just all this room underneath for everybody to work.
All righty. Offensive players to watch. Craig Stout, lead it off.
Oh, man. This is tough because I think not to get ahead of myself, I think this is going to be a big offensive day for the Chiefs. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Noah Gray. Why not Noah Gray in this one here? Getting just a little bit more integrated into the offense after a rough start. We've seen better blocking, better usage, better deployment of him in some of these run game concepts. I think, they tried some stuff and said, okay, well, we're going to make you into a point of attack blocker. Didn't work out great. Now they got him on the move a little bit more. He's holding his own a little bit better. It's an improvement in execution and an improvement in deployment. As we just got done saying, the matchups are poor here in the middle of the field for the Washington Commanders. The Chiefs have been leaning on this heavier personnel a little bit more, lots of 12 personnel. We haven't seen a ton of Noah Gray targets. They're there, here and there. This could be a game where if they try and shift and rotate and take away Travis Kelce, knowing full well, hey, we're weak in the middle of the field, let's offer a little bit of help. Travis Kelce just got done leading the team in receiving yards last week. He's coming on a little bit. Could lead to even better matchups for Noah Gray out there. Maybe seeing a little bit of Bobby Wagner. Certainly a guy that he can beat. So I'm saying a meager day, but a good one for Noah Gray in the passing game.
Hey, maybe two tight ends keep some more linebackers on the field.
Yep.
Like it could be something. A little empty out of 12? A little empty out of 12, anyone? I don't know.
Be fun.
Maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
With Brashard Smith out there too?
Well, that's my player to watch. So I'm going to roll with that. You want to talk about trying, look, Bobby Wagner, yeah, he struggles to coverage. He also struggles to move. Very smart football player. Very good run defender. Just can't run laterally. And you've seen teams, even just with tight ends, trying to get him into the flat, trying to see Bobby Wagner trying to chase him down. The horizontal game's going to work well too in this one. So I think there's a couple players that are uniquely capable of exploiting the horizontal game. And I think Brashard Smith's one of them. I think he's a little bit of a DeAnthony Thomas. We've talked about him in the past. And I think there's an opportunity to try to get him with some of those jet plays, some of those lateral plays to the sidelines, swing routes out of the backfield. I think this is an opportunity for Brashard Smith to stretch horizontally and I think exploit that linebacker core as well. So give me Brashard Smith, who had a great game last week. I think he continues the momentum and has a good performance this week. What do you got, Matty?
Look at you guys going with all these receiving weapons, looking to the smaller guys, ignoring the big uglies there in the middle of the field. You know who doesn't get enough players to watch from us when we do this?
Patrick
Creed
Mahomes.
Humphrey. So give me Creed Humphrey is my player to watch. He's actually going up against a team that I do think will do enough of odd fronts with the line of scrimmage there. He will get a few more one-on-one matchups, or at least head-up matchups, I should say, in this game that he's going to get throughout, most matchups through the season. The Commanders have some quality talent there on the interior of their defensive line. They will also put Frankie Louvu right up over the A-gap plenty often. So I think he'll get challenged a little bit more in the passing game than he will in a lot of other games that he plays this year. But on top of that, we're still got Creed's out here having to help the guards on either side of him right now. The screen game's getting going, so you got to see Creed get out on the move a little bit more in the last couple weeks. So yeah, I think this could be a big game for Creed Humphrey to really kind of come out there and say, hey, guy, by the way, don't forget I'm the best center in the NFL. And when you're putting in your midseason Protector of the Year awards, this guy right here deserves some votes, and his name's Creed Humphrey.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the defensive side of the ball right after this.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Thanks, everyone, hanging out with us on a Wednesday game preview edition. Yes, I know it's Monday. That gives you plenty of time to listen to this show and find out what we think of it. So you got time here. But we're talking about the defensive side of the ball. I think the teams haven't even practiced yet. Defense.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question? I don't think it'll derail us too much.
Oh, no.
How would you guys feel if the Kansas City Chiefs, before playing the Washington Commanders, decided to trade one of Christian Fulton or Joshua Williams?
Ooh, I like this scenario. Just getting ahead of a long week here. If it's Christian Fulton,
it wasn't that bad of a question. Relax.
It's me. It's not the question, Maddie. I mean, you just got done praising him, and then he's gonna yawn through your question.
I mean, propped him up, and now I gotta tear him back down. I gotta put him back in his place. Who does he think he is?
Yeah, no kidding.
I had the music put in my head for a second. I had Craig's music, and then I just.
If it's Christian Fulton, it really does depend on what they're getting back there. Like, I understand that he's a healthy scratch right now. I get it, and there's sunk cost fallacy with all of this, but like, when he's been healthy, he's been a fine cornerback in this league. We spent a lot of time talking about corners in this offseason, and he was the guy that this room kind of hinged on. Obviously, Noah Williams developing has made a big difference for this team. Their 3 safety looks have kept, corners on the sidelines over here, but it's got to be a decent return for me to be okay with letting a guy like that go. Joshua Williams is a special team player at this point. So, like, I'm not going to get mad about it, especially if he's going to go someplace where he's going to be in a corner rotation a little bit more. Like, you get something for that guy right now, I'm on board. I also don't have one. I'm not sitting here clamoring for one or both of those guys to get traded at this point. But if you are able to turn a Christian Fulton into a starting defensive tackle for your football team, yeah, I'm probably okay with that move.
I think it's worth mentioning with like a Christian Fulton, he's under contract for next season. So the value of, because like player trades, like there's so many people last year that just wanted to throw Sky Moore into any deal, or like even this year, it's like, hey, just throw Sky Moore, throw your spare parts, throw a guy, or not just Sky, but just like, hey, throw this random player that's under contract for just this season into this trade. It'll make it work. Acquiring team that's blowing things up isn't going to want no club control in a deal. Like just getting a rent a player doesn't make sense for any acquiring team that is going to, most of the time, unless they're trying to re-sign him. So Christian Fulton has, if he's good this year, he has another year of club control for an acquiring team. That scenario makes a little bit of sense. A rebuilding team, I don't think, is going to want Josh Williams. Josh Williams is a free agent after this season. So really all you're doing is surrendering an asset, and the only value you're getting is maybe a 9-10 game tryout of a player. That doesn't make sense. Fulton makes a little bit because you have some club control if you get rid of him, or if you acquire him. As a sweetener to a deal with the New York Jets for Jermaine Johnson and or Breece Hall, maybe. Like the Jets, hey, look, get him on it for a second year next year. Like maybe that makes sense for them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Josh Williams is really getting you much in this market. Fulton might actually have some trade value, even though he hasn't been able to play this year. So I think, I don't know, see what you can do with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a strong opinion. I think it's more likely that they get moved to a contending team that needs cornerback help than they're added as a sweetener to another deal or go to a bad team. So, well, I completely agree with your point that like Fulton with another year under contract helps his cause, and Josh Williams being on his final year doesn't do a lot for you. If you are just going to use them because I know their corners are great. If you're the Rams and you suffer a corner injury and you're just like, hey, we really need somebody that we can come in and think can play a little bit, I can even see the need for a Josh Williams for them. Because like he has proven like he's played in Super Bowls. He's played in big games, right? So like you're not putting out a completely unproven person out there on the field or a Fulton. So I think it's more likely that is a separate trade, or at least those guys would go to a contending team looking for someone that can come in and either be like a playable corner as a corner 3, maybe a corner 4 for them in case somebody's working back from injury or something. So yeah, I'm just curious because I've seen the healthy scratching of Fulton's a little odd, especially because now we're getting Kevin Knowles reps. And I know it's like backup, but like Knowles reps while Fulton's a healthy scratch. So that's been interesting to me. And then just seeing an article, I believe it was Jeremy Fowler that had them as like a potentially, available. So I just wanted to bring it to see what we thought here.
I'm not ready to give up on the Christian Fulton experience yet. And what I mean by that is like, I'm just not ready to completely write him off and dismiss him just because like he's playing from behind a little bit, having to kind of catch up with, missing so much time during training camp, dealing with the injury. So like, if it's like hey, we let you get some reps, maybe we just let you kind of ease back into some things here a little bit and we'll kind of get going. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if like, after the bye week, all of a sudden, Christian Fulton's playing. I'm not going to be stunned if that's the case or if he's an active player by then. So I don't know if I'm ready to completely give up on Christian Fulton anyway. I think there's entirely a chance that maybe they're just, we'll get there when we get there kind of thing. And he gets involved a little bit sooner rather than later. All right, defensive side. Oh wow, Craig's leading off again. What?
Oh wow! What a novel concept here.
What?
Will the defense have trouble with a curveball? Not to mix metaphors here, but this Washington Commanders team is going to have to do something different if they want to come out and win this football game. They cannot rely on Marcus Mariota to drop back to pass, throw to these guys, get their run game going. They've found success against bad football teams. They have not been able to really do much of anything against good to decent football teams. The last time that we saw Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel on the field together was in week 3. That was also the last time that Marcus Mariota started a game. That game was against the Las Vegas Raiders in a game that the Commanders won very handily. They didn't really have to try. It's a common theme when you are playing against the Raiders. Cliff Kingsbury is going to come out here and he's going to try and mix things up. He's going to try and get matchups. He's going to try and stress this defense in a lot of different ways. When you think back to what Steve Spagnuolo and this Chiefs defense have encountered throughout the season, when you think of the bad games, you think of games where the offense came out and did something that was off the wall or a curve ball. Think about the Chargers in week 1. You're seeing a lot of 21 personnel, Scott Matlock on the field in a pass-heavy script where they trust him to block one-on-one. Chiefs are playing the run most of the day. Chargers come out and throw the ball a ton. Against the Jaguars, it's, well, yeah, go ahead, throw outside the numbers, and we're not really going to spy too much on Trevor Lawrence. We're going to make him beat us with his legs. Guess what? They come out. They do just that. Those are the two bad, quote-unquote, bad defensive performances that we have seen from the Kansas City Chiefs defense so far this season. They have trouble with this set of personnel specifically. They have trouble making those in-game adjustments in the same way that they have in years past, where they've just been able to trust guys like Justin Reed, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton. They're still here, but a lot of layers, being able to get cohesive, being able to play together and make those in-game adjustments to shut down these curveballs, these new things, these off-the-wall things that opposing offenses are bringing there. We have not seen them do that particularly well this season. This is a game that, because Marcus Mariota is starting at quarterback, we are going to see Cliff get into his bag a little bit. We are going to see some creativity trying to catch the Chiefs defense off guard. I think the difference in this game being close and this game being another blowout in the Chiefs' favor is the difference in how they react to some of those, not necessarily trick plays, but unpredictable scenarios that they can find themselves in.
Well, in something, it's kind of related. Something that Cliff does really well. His run game is very well designed right now, and it hits you from different angles than you kind of expect, right? So the Lions have the last really good rushing attack the Chiefs have faced with the Lions, but what they did to the Chiefs, I think that they just said, hey, we can push them around. So we're going to run a lot of zone and we're going to try to win a bunch of one-on-one blocks. We're not going to linger on our combos. We're going to immediately climb to the second level. And it worked for a little bit, but then the Chiefs countered with some run blitzes and some slants of their linebackers, and it really threw that off. And so, not that the Lions are a bad rushing attack, but I think the way the Commanders attack you on the ground is a little bit different. And I don't think they're going to just try to come straight downhill in that same way at you. They are going to add in not even misdirection, but they are going to hit you from different angles. They're going to sprinkle in different kinds of runs. So I think, especially with Mariota starting, that's what the Chiefs will have to stop, right? Like, make sure the Commanders can't get you on your back foot. Make sure they're not attacking you and keeping you guessing what the run scheme is going to be, where it's coming from, kind of keep them in a pass first game plan. And I think that will shut down a little bit of some of that trickery and some of their ability to do stuff. Because without Daniels back there, like, I really think that the only thing they're going to catch you with is going to be the run game. I don't think you're worried about Mariota's arm. So it's just, can you contain the run game and all the different ways that they come and attack you with that?
I think there's one little wrinkle that they can kind of throw in there on top of that. Actually, I'll tie it into what I was going to ask. Here's my question for week 8 for the Chiefs. It is, Tucker, can the Chiefs tackle well on early down? So I think the run game for sure. Like, I'm with you there. Like, and I think there's some impressive stuff in the run game from even this game against the in a neutral game script. I think the Commanders did some good things running the football with Jaden Daniels on the field for sure. But still, Bill Krosky-Merrick had some success on early downs. But one of the other things and one of the other hallmarks of Cliff Kingsbury has been the ability to stretch horizontally and be able to get some yard after the catch ability. And if Deebo Samuel is going to play in this game, which, look, he might be playing. I think there is, it seems to indicate he will be playing in this game. All signs do point towards it, even though they haven't practiced as of this recording. His ability horizontally in the underneath routes and getting him some of these manufactured opportunities. I think it's Bill Krosky-Merritt, and I think it's Deebo Samuel. If you're able to slow those guys down on early downs, like, I think that puts you in a really good situation defensively, where you can pin your ears back and you can put a lot more pressure on Marcus Mariota. And Mariota's legs are not what they used to be, and it's not like he was ever just the most dynamic runner. He was like a little Herbertish, where he was like fast, but maybe not like shifty at all. But he still presents enough with his legs that you've got to account for it. I think early down success, being able to just tackle effectively, both with the horizontal game, being able to bring a guy like Deebo Samuel down, and just, early run success, stopping the run and tackling well, because Bill Krosky-Merritt is a slippery little running back. You do those things, like I think you put them, you put the Chiefs in an advantageous situation for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, and the Chiefs have done pretty well tackling. I know that was a little bit of a concern in preseason. They were going half speed, obviously, but even in the early couple of games, I think we can remember several opportunities that they had guys dead to rights and they turned into bigger plays. So they've really cleaned it up as of late. Part of the help for that is playing bad offenses. That definitely helps out with that a lot. But the rest of the league is also playing these bad offenses, and they are currently tied for third in the league in missed tackles. So that's pretty good. They are a pretty secure tackling team. That is really good to know. After Justin Reed leaving, there were some questions about, are they going to be able to do that? Shamari Connor has done a really good job as of late, trying to bring guys down, stack in the box, and all of that. So yeah, as you mentioned, Kent, with Bill Krosky-Merritt and Deebo Samuel as these guys that aren't going to be downfield threats. I mean, you might see these guys get downfield on occasion, but most of their production, most of their targets are going to be within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. They're going to try and get those guys the ball, try and get them to break tackles, try and create after the catch here. If the Chiefs are able to get a guy like Shamari Connor, they're able to bring guys like Trent McDuffie, a very good tackler, Jalen Watson, a very good tackler, Noah Williams, who just wants to punch everybody in the face. These guys are going to be able to limit what the Washington Commanders really do want to do there. So I like that one, Kent. I know it seems very simple, the whole, hey, go out there and tackle really well, but it matters a lot against the Cliff Kingsbury team that's going to try and scheme things up, get guys into space, try and get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and really try and create from the line of scrimmage on, versus trying to push the ball down the field a little bit more. And that was even with Jaden Daniels in there. They were doing that. It becomes even more prescient with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. So I really like that one.
Well, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't talk about the Chiefs pass rush, but we can go and throw my question up there because it's very related to Kent's. Will the intensity stay high in what I think is a letdown spot? And so the reason I went with this, I really was going to focus on the tackling because, well, I don't know if Deebo Samuel's going to play. The Chiefs' intensity the past couple weeks has been through the roof. Like, they have been coming up, they've been hitting, they've been very sure tacklers. We know this secondary is one of the best tackling secondaries in the entire NFL. They have been for years now. I think the linebackers are tackling really well this year when they get there. And like, there's been less plays in years past they just simply don't make it to. So even the tackling on the second level has been very good, and they've been hitting, they've been blowing up blocks. So there's been some intensity to this team. Well, now all of a sudden you have another Monday night game after a big win over the Ravens. It's not a big win over the Raiders, but it's a divisional opponent, right? That you play and you go out there and you skunk them, and you guys kind of have to let off the gas because your coach is doing Pete Carroll a favor. And so,
we haven't talked about the fact that I think I saw someone say this. It wasn't just that they started kneeling with 2:45 left. They also ran 13 straight run plays to close the game out.
Yeah,
that's
a
they didn't let Minshew throw the ball.
Yeah, he came in the third quarter and did not have a pass attempt.
He had one in the first half that got called back, but
there was like 3rd and 8 that they were just running on. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so it's just like this feels like a prime line. That's an NFC team that's not going to be at the peak of their performance this year because they don't have their starting quarterback. They might not have Terry McLaurin. They might not have Deebo Samuel. We don't know yet because again, nobody's practiced for this game. That's a lifetime away. But we don't know what's going on with that right now. So there's just a chance that the Chiefs might come into this game and be a little bit flat. And so I am curious, do they come out there? Are they going to tackle like we know they can? Are they going to hit like they've been hitting the past few weeks? Or is this one of those games that you kind of have to gut through, especially I think on the defensive side? Because like you can be a little flat on offense and it can still work. Defensively though, you got to play with a certain edge, especially against a Cliff Kingsbury team that is going to manufacture good looks for athletes in space at some point in time. Are you ready for it? So just, what is the intensity level like for the Chiefs going to be in this game, where I definitely could see them kind of peaking a little bit towards what's coming over the next couple weeks coming up?
That's a good thought, because it is a little hint of a potential down game too, right? Like, it's not just like the fact that like it's coming. It's not just the come down. It's also like a little bit of look ahead here. You got the Buffalo Bills. You've got the Denver Broncos. And coming in pretty quick here. I know the Broncos is after the bye, but it is a good point. I tend to believe that their response will be good, just because like this team has, I don't want to say they've had letdowns already this year, but they've lost games. They've lost a lot of football games. They lost that Jacksonville game. They lost on a Monday night game already, right? Like, there's little angles like I think you can play with and say, hey, look, the last time we played on a Monday Night Football, we didn't play to our abilities. We didn't maintain the intensity for the entirety of the game. And look what happened. We got up early, and what happened? Like, you don't have to look too far back to point to a game and say, hey, on Monday Night Football, we were up 14-0 and then we blew it, right? So like they don't have to try too hard, I think, to find, even an instance in recent memory of them not holding their end of the bargain and taking this thing to the finish line. So I do tend to have some confidence that they will be able to continue what they're doing.
I think they will as well. I think this one is going to matter in a big way because they're going to get an idea of what the AFC West does. The Broncos played the Houston Texans in a game that might end 3-0. Like, let's be real in that one. Neither one of those offenses. I know what the Denver Broncos did in the fourth quarter this week, but look at the rest of their season and how the offense is going against a ridiculously great defense. And then there's the Houston Texans. I realize we've got Brett Coleman in the chat. I'm sorry that I'm running down your team right now, buddy. I really did not. I realized we got you there, but that's just going to be a defensive battle. So that could go either way, is what I'm trying to say. That could be a game that I could see tilting either way, depending on which defense shows up in a better way in that game. The Los Angeles Chargers are going up against the Minnesota Vikings in a big must-win game as well. That's a Thursday night football game. If both of those teams lose, the Chiefs can line up and take first place of the AFC West after starting as terribly as they have this week. That's going to be a big energy giver if they have the opportunity to do so. They feel a little bit overlooked. They feel like they're getting their groove back a little bit. They feel like things are clicking for them. They're going up against a backup quarterback. They're going up against a defense that's not particularly good. I think the intensity is there. Yes, they got a certain jolt last week with Rashee Rice back in the fold. There's going to be a little bit of a letdown that comes from that, but I think they can supplant that by saying, hey, listen, guys, we just got to go out there. We got to beat this team. We already lost to the Jaguars in a game that we shouldn't have lost. Let's go out there. Let's handle business on Monday night, and let's walk in potentially leading the AFC West, depending on the results of this weekend, and really kind of have everybody who's already anointing them as the Super Bowl favorite, including DraftKings right now, turn around and say, yeah, that's right. You're right to put your trust in us and your faith in us. We know that we're going to show up.
All righty. Defensive players to watch in this game. Craig?
Man, this is... I could go a lot of different ways here, but I'm going to go with Jalen Watson in this one. Terry McLaurin being back does give a boost to the Washington Commanders offense. I don't know that it's enough to make Marcus Mariota look functional, especially considering that in games that he has not played against the Las Vegas Raiders this year, both of those games he had less than a 60% completion percentage, not particularly good, but he hasn't had guys that he really trusted to throw the ball to. That is where Terry McLaurin kind of comes in a little bit. I trust that Trent McDuffie's going to be able to handle things against Terry McLaurin a little bit there. That's something that we can see. But if we get Jalen Watson up against Terry McLaurin in a man-on-man situation where we have an advantageous look for the Commanders, how is he going to show up? How is he going to play? Jalen Watson is playing ridiculously well as of late. I think that he is up to the task, but this is the type of guy that is a really good receiver that can snap him off a little bit, take advantage of the fact that he's a little bit stiff-hipped and doesn't necessarily have some of the same explosion and burst that a Terry McLaurin's going to have. This is just not an ideal matchup for Jalen Watson. So if he can get his hands on him, play a little bit physical throughout the route there, I really like this matchup. If they're calling it close and he's got to play a little more hands off, I'm a little worried. So Jalen Watson's my player to watch there.
Maddie.
Ooh. Going back to this draft that has just happened, there was some debate about the offensive tackles going around, and some people really like Josh Connerly. He got a lot of buzz. Some Chiefs fans really wanted him. Oh boy, he has struggled for the Commanders early this year. Now he switched sides back to the right tackle spot. This is by no means saying that his career or anything won't be good, but as of right now, he is struggling. He has given up 23 pressures so far, 5 sacks for the Commanders, and now he's going to have across from him one of the top 5 players in the NFL in pressures, George Karlaftis, lining up over him over and over again. How is he going to be able to do it? I actually thought one of the things that Connerly struggled with in college was power, just handling some power from explosive guys that can get into his chest quickly. I said it in the Giants game, I believe it was, once they had to have a backup tackle come in. George Karlaftis is the perfect litmus test for, are you ready to play tackle in the NFL right now or not? Because if you're not, he's going to beat you over and over and over again. Just the intensity, the athleticism, it's going to be there rep after rep. This could be one of those games where he kind of takes over. And I don't know if he's going to have a bunch of quick pressures and a bunch of sacks, because that's not his game, but his impact might be felt throughout the entire game, because I just don't know if Connerly right now is playing well enough to handle Karlaftis coming off the edge.
Our buddy Brett Coleman was commiserating over the loss of Omar Norman-Lott towards ACL, is out for the remainder of his rookie year. Just a really tough rookie season for Omar Norman-Lott. That leaves the Chiefs with, maybe you're seeing a Zach Pickens get called up. 2 C's. Maybe it's Broderick Martin. Don't know exactly why it would be. Maybe. I don't know. But there's need. Oh, hey, it's never mind. It's more just stylistically, maybe they want to. I don't know. I just wonder if this isn't an opportunity for Mike Dana to kick inside more and play a little bit more in this game, because the Chiefs are lacking a lot of defensive tackle depth right now. There's only 3, so you're probably getting a Broderick Martin. This isn't a shade of. I like Broderick Martin. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't know what they're trying to go.
He just won't play.
What do they want? What kind?
There's just no reason for him to play.
That's not what I meant. I like
Broderick Martin. Come on, man.
I think Broderick
about
Martin.
Joey Ivy's pass rush and Broderick Martin.
Oh, are we starting that again? Careful. He will enter the chat. We know that for a fact.
You playing Madden right now, Craig?
I got to go find out if Broderick Martin was a my guy for me now, because I think he might have been. I think Broderick Martin might have been a my guy for me. So let me just. I can't find it. I don't know what I'm doing here.
After the way you've been talking, no chance.
Anyways. Maybe we see a little bit of Mike Dana inside, playing inside a little bit, and just I'm just kind of fascinated to see if they move him around a little bit, push him inside. We've seen them experimenting with that. We've seen him play at times along the interior over the course of his career, even this year. And maybe this is just a chance to see him play a little bit more from there. Win with some quickness against potentially some old friends too. So I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on Mike Dana as someone that might be able to move around and maybe help support the interior of the defensive line in some certain situations with the lack of depth there. All right, prediction time. Craig,
I think everybody's kind of aware that the Chiefs have never beaten a Marcus Mariota starting football team. I think we all can remember exactly where we were when Marcus Mariota threw a pass to himself.
I was there
and scored a touchdown. Brutal. Guess what? That can't hurt you anymore. It's not that team anymore. They're not even remotely close to that team anymore. And I'm talking about your Kansas City Chiefs. I do think that these Washington Commanders will put up a better fight. I think that they have the opportunity to get some guys going. Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Bill Krosky-Merritt, a little bit. And I think that this game, at a certain point, will feel a little bit closer than everybody is comfortable with. But when it comes down to it, this Chiefs team just has too much talent. They match up too well on the offensive side of the ball. Like this Commanders defense is going to struggle to stop everything but the run, essentially. They got some bodies on the inside. They got linebackers to play the run well, but they can't stop the pass. This is not a big Isaiah Pacheco on the ground game for me. So I think we see the Chiefs come out. They're going to air out the ball. The Commanders are going to struggle to stop it, especially in the middle of the field. They're going to have to go to a very pass-heavy script at a certain point in this game, and that's exactly where you want the Chiefs to be if you are Steve Spagnuolo, because Marcus Mariota is going to feel that blitz. He's going to take a lot of sacks. He's going to take a lot of hits, and he's going to get really inaccurate. I think that this game, midway through the second quarter, is a little closer than we'd all like. We're hoping for them to put them away a little bit earlier than this, but once we get to the second half, I think the Chiefs are going to just start spamming the Rushy Rice, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, middle of the field button over and over and over again, and they run away with this one. Chiefs 31, Washington Commanders 17.
Is it my turn? I don't know if the Commanders are that good of a football team, if I'm being honest. Every time I've tuned into watching this year, I'm just kind of like, yeah, they look like the team that everybody thought they were going to be last year, that they vastly overperformed. A lot of aging players on defense. You don't know how all the parts are going to fit together. They certainly do some fun stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. And when the whole offense is healthy, I think there's a little bit of a threat there. And maybe you could get into this little kind of like faux shootout and stuff like that with McLaurin taking the top off, Deebo getting all this stuff underneath. You have Daniels playing really good at quarterback. But they don't have Daniels. I don't know what other weapons they're going to have. And even if they do have them, they're all returning from injury right now. The offensive line is playing significantly worse than it was last year, where they were somehow overperforming given like the general talent level that they had. So it just feels like everything that was swinging their way last year isn't. They're not having a crazy fourth down success rate this year like they did last year. Like, just nothing is going quite as well as it did for them last year. Whereas on the flip side, everything the Chiefs have done the last couple of weeks has kind of been hitting. Like, they've been pulling all the right levers. They've been playing all the right way. So outside of a little bit of like a letdown, being not a division rival, not a team they're competing with in the AFC, allowing the game to start close in the first half, I feel like the Chiefs just overwhelm them as this game goes on. And like, it just looks like two completely different talent level of teams. So it probably ends something like 26-24 Ravens.
I could see that.
I could see that. That's definitely within the realm of outcomes this week for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It's a good point. I don't think that this team's going to let up. I just think everything that's happened to this point in the season, I just don't anticipate them having a letdown, even though there is a massive game coming up here pretty quick here with the Buffalo Bills. I think this team comes out and continues to do what they've been doing offensively. The defense should be rested. They only played 23 snaps.
23 snaps. Oh, that's so funny. Thank you, Pete Carroll.
I mean, so I think this team is rested and for all intents and purposes, and I think that vibes and the energy surrounding the skill players continues to carry this team. Knowing that they've got a big week coming up next, I don't think they're going to let this one slip away. I think they're going to handle business. I think they're going to light the scoreboard up again. I was going to pick 31-17 as well, Craig. You know what? Screw it. 31-17. Me and Craig.
Let's go.
Making a Raven sandwich here. With two slices of 31-17. So we'll roll with that. That's going to do it for the game preview edition of the KC Laboratory. Listen to it twice because you have time. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Chiefs 30, former football team 16.
Oh.